Hello. Okay, I've played maybe 10-15 minutes of this just to make sure everything's functional, so... Not actually completed the tutorial even yet. Which I'm generally anti-tutorial, but with VR it tends to be necessary. Right?
To use the radio,
because everything's so
place your hand
idiosyncratic.
near your ear and hold the trigger. To sprint, click forward on the movement. Open the buy menu by pressing right on the... To open the main menu, hold the menu button and trigger with your non-dominant hand.
Menu. Okay, well, that's not my controller, and menu is not the button they... It's this one, I think I remember. There.
To close the main menu, press the menu button with your non-dominant. Proceed through the open doors to continue. Place your dominant hand over the weapon on your hip and press grip to equip your secondary. Place your offhand over your ammo pouch on your hip and hold trigger to grab a magazine. Place the magazine into the weapon. Grip the weapon with your offhand. Shoot all the targets.
This is about where I got to in the tutorial last time. Or when I was just making sure it was working. If you do VR stuff, you're familiar with VR jank. It's not terribly plug and play. It's getting better, I've noticed, with the more modern titles. Like stuff from the first few years of VR. It's all very Wild West.
Remove your magazine by placing your hand over it and pressing trigger. Place your
It was like gaming in the 90s, right?
Grab the charging handle with your grip the
Meeting
weapon
strangers
with your
on the internet,
Shoot all the
trading
targets to continue.
black market files that are just DLLs that you don't have and for some reason aren't available anywhere. That sort of thing. You remember, the good old days. When being a gamer meant something. You had to want to. You had to really, really try to waste your life. What am I doing? Drop. There you are.
Place your dominant hand over your shoulder.
Both my hands are
Place your
dominant, baby.
offhand over your ammo pouch on your hip and hold trigger to grab a magazine. Place
that
the
one, I guess.
magazine into the weapon. Grab the charging. Grip the weapon.
Not a
with
terribly
your
dominant display.
Shoot all the targets to continue.
I cannot get over how well this works. Like, just using the actual iron sights in VR. Like, it seems like this... I don't know. It feels so natural. It's
Press down
crazy.
on the thumb pad with your dominant hand to release the magazine. Place your offhand over your ammo pouch on your hip and hold trigger. Grab the charging handle with. Grip the weapon with your offhand.
I know VR stuff
Shoot
never
all
really
the
comes
targets
across when you're streaming it,
Grip
but
the weapon with your
this
offhand to
is
stabilize.
very impressive to me. Again, I'm 34, so I kind of grew up with... Like, as I grew up with video games, like, as they were becoming a big deal, right? So I you know, go all the way back to Super Mario Brothers and stuff on the NES. So to get here, in the course of my lifetime, is like... Or this is like what I would fantasize about as a wee lad.
Shoot all the targets to continue.
How far we've come, yeah? Thank you, Moore's Law. And capitalism. Nothing else, really. Have to care the problem, yeah? When you get money interests aligned with
Press grip to drop your weapon.
well, nothing else, you get progress. That's how we accidentally get nice things.
Place the attachment over the Picatinny rail and hold trigger to select the location.
Ooh.
When the attachment,
Ooh.
press grip to drop your weapon.
I guess so the AR platform is like Barbie for men. So that's like, you know, you get to select what top it's wearing. Isn't that great? Stereotype, you understand what I mean, like the public stereotype of a male, right? Not offending any of the super cool, not like the other girl ladies that were very offended with what I just said. You're special, I promise. Head pats. If you're a girl and you like ARs more than Barbies, like, subscribe, bell, genuflex before the algorithm. You know the drill.
Proceed through the open doors
Good
to
girl,
continue.
thank you. Or dude.
With your dominant
Whatever it
hand,
was.
use grip to grab
But
the
someone
grenade
subscribed
off of
right there and I
vest.
appreciate it.
Place your hand over the grenade pin, hold the trigger,
You
and
don't have to
pull
tell me
the pin.
twice, alright.
Press trigger to release the grenade while throwing it.
Probably through the door, yeah?
Next time.
I feel like I missed a critical instruction there, folks.
With your dominant hand, use grip to grab the grenade off of your vest. Place your hand over the grenade pin.
Right?
Press grip to begin cooking the grenade.
Okay. Wait.
Press trigger to release the grenade while throwing it. Try not to kill yourself next time.
But where am I throwing it? Just back down the stairs? I thought the door was going to open, that's what I was waiting for. Right? Because it has me walking up here.
With your dominant hand,
Unless...
use grip to grab the grenade off of your vest. Place your hand over the...
Yeah? Happy?
Press grip to begin cooking the grenade.
Oh, shit.
Place your hand over the grenade pin, hold the trigger, and pull the pin. Press grip to begin cooking the grenade. Place your hand over the grenade pin, hold the trigger, and pull the pin. Press grip to begin cooking the grenade. Place your hand over the grenade pin.
I feel
hold
like
the
I
trigger,
understand how
and
this
pull
works
the
now.
pin.
Why is it? What do you want me
Press
to do?
grip to begin cooking the grenade.
I mean, I'm a shitty thrower. I'll give you that. I've now twice managed to not do that
Place your hand
correctly.
over the grenade
But I
pin.
do understand how the grenade works.
Press grip to begin cooking the grenade.
Is that what you want? Happy?
Place your hand over the grenade pin. Hold the trigger,
Motherfucker, where are you?
press grip
Where
to
are you
begin cooking the
specifically?
grenade.
You're not my dad. Okay, well,
Hand over the grenade pin. Hold the
fuck all
trigger
that.
and pull the pin.
Okay, so review so far is the tutorial great up until the grenade thing, which was really irritating. You know, it's like, holy shit, gun to the head here. No? Huh, alright. That's not the effect I was hoping for, folks. So clearly I was missing something there. I'm sure someone was screaming while watching. That was you. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Oh, just I do a lot of military stuff, but I've never even thought about joining the military, so don't let that confuse you. Not claiming any kind of valor here. I just think it's an interesting area of information, and I like the people that, yeah, veterans are kind of cool, right? They should talk more. I like all the veteran stuff that's coming out now that they are gathering resources. A lot of them are putting out their own content. Very pro that. So I engage with a lot of that content. So that's why I like to occasionally remind people. It's like, no, I'm not just a fan, right? Like with my comedy stuff. Not a comic, just a fan. Keep doing what you're doing. I wouldn't. I'm glad that you do. Where's my... No! Weird. I need to recenter my view here, because I wasn't able to actually grab my magazine. Which, what I understand from so many podcasts is that ammunition is essential to this whole process. The things you learn. Oh, come on! Bang. Click. Oh, shit. Well, that was worth the price of admission right there, folks. This game's great. Oh, I seem to be losing center rather rapidly. That could just be a my end thing. I'm a neophyte with all this tech, so I don't think I'm set up correctly, like even a little bit. If someone knows what's wrong, like, tell me, right? And then if someone knows why that guy's an asshole, tell him. Then eventually work out what the settings need to be to fix all this shit. Thank you. Be useful, chat. Alright, so I probably need, like, a better gun, right? So... an M14. Yes. I will indeed use this. Or is this a... no, that's not a straight up Garand, is it? Oh shit, this is a Garand. I thought this... no, this is not what... oh god. Oh, I'm in trouble here, folks. That was a very satisfying ping. What is it, 8 rounds? And it's a stripper clip, right? So, like that, and then charge it like that, and then yeet. Die, Nazi scum. Or something. Right, because if you say the Pacific War version of that, it's not okay. No shade in the Germans. So you're just allowed to, probably stop talking now. But, you know, the Garans are only pointed in certain directions, so you're limited if you're gonna LARP. So it has to be Nazis, right? Die, you Italian scum! Like, that doesn't sound good. Oops. Okay, so I think I'm playing this like a retard. Sorry, I have autism, so I'm allowed to say that, I think. According to the leftist stack. But I think it's a tactical shooter, right? So my energy is probably going to get me killed. So, research business. Slow and quiet. Real team guy shit. I have PTSD and I don't know it yet. But I'm a real problem to everyone around me. Him? I shot him in the dick. I also shot him in the dick. I have no idea where I'm round count wise. I need like a... maybe one of the transparent mags. Like, unironically, that'd be great, right? Shot on the ankle. Whoa. Here we have... shit's getting real, folks. Magazine. Magazine. Anyway. Then charge. Huh? I'm not even trying to look at the sights, right? I'm just gonna... you know, like a Middle East and the Levant fighter. think that's like stereotypically how they fight, right? I've never even heard of a sight picture. How? Is this... Is it me? Am I stupid? What is the setting that I have wrong? Because it works great for a second, and then maybe I'm just like being too squirmy. Or is there a... Because I'm playing seated, right? Because I'm very fat and lazy. Maybe that's the problem? Oh, that was satisfying. The full... I don't know why, but it's incredibly satisfying to just do the dumbest possible yeet, right? Oh, God. This is unreasonably fun. That's my review so far. Aside from the grenade tutorial, which blew... Things. Blue things. How do I... How do you pick things off the floor? Because underneath me is a couch, right? 'Cause that's what I'm sitting on. So how do I... Kind of like the Garrett, to be honest. I'm very forthright. What is it, 30-06? Blat. Glad we're not quite bringing back like full retard battle rifles like this, but the new standard issue. Uh-oh. Oh God. Never listen to me about small arms. I obviously have no idea what I'm talking about. Commentary retracted. I like the new army gun. Seems like a good idea. That's what I was about to say. Oh, come on now. Alright, no, it's more of a... Yeah, that's right. Where is it? I literally do, because that should go over your shoulder. And that's... Right? Just like that, right? Yeah, I had it backwards, I think. Or does that make more sense? I've dropped my weapon again, folks. This is a disaster. Alright, well, you know what? Should have been a cowboy, folks. Back off, Hoss. Oh, okay. Now I have to... Jesus. What? No, I don't have the speed loader? Oh, no! Jesus. Where's the... Yeah, I've never shot a revolver in my life, folks. I honestly don't know how to work it. I know the cylinder goes... Here, let's... Fall off the horse, you have to get right back on, right? So... Because the cylinder... releases... And then it flips out, and you just literally... You take the old casings out and put the new... in, but excuse me, sir. Excuse me. I'm trying to tell these fine people the nerve. Where do they get off, folks? Alright. In conclusion, I don't believe in revolvers because I personally can't get them to work, so obviously people who say they have used them in the past are gaslighting you. Revolvers don't exist. Hashtag it. Or they exist and they're all bluffs. I think that's more it. Like, they don't actually work. Like, the nukes don't exist idea. 3D sound is great, because you really do get a 3-round burst? Okay. I'm listening. Wasn't expecting that. So it's still technically a machine gun, right? Because it's, I think, under the ATF definition. But it's, oh god. Hello, sir. Sorry about that. It was my mistake. I was wrong. Alright, less talking, more shooting. How about? Is it a mini? Oh. No, it's not. What is this? Isn't this... What am I looking at? I know I've seen this before, but I can't recall the name. I was thinking... That doesn't matter. Oof. The recoil on this must be... I was thinking SKS, but... I go... SKS action on... I don't know, someone... I'm not actually a gun guy. I enjoy them a little bit, but it's not like a intense special interest. Someone tell me what this is. It's like a tactical version of something. I think SKS, but for some reason that feels wrong. Alright, with the Cerakote and all that. Cerakote, whatever, however that's pronounced. You know what I mean. Oh, hello, sir. Run away. Run away. No? Oh, it's a strip eclipse situation. Okay. So that's chaos, right? Am I completely... If I'm wrong here, people are gonna be fucking pissed. Sir, I shot you. You're not supposed to shoot me now. Stare hog. I don't know how that's pronounced, but that is what that is, yeah? Was it Austrian? I think some other people use it too. I'm completely ignorant about gun stuff, folks, so... I mean, not completely, but I know enough to piss people off. I'm like the person that... never mind. I'm like a car guy, a quote-unquote car guy that thinks Mustangs are cool. That's my level of ignorance with guns. By analogy. Like, I know enough to sound like I know something to people who know absolutely nothing. But anyone who actually knows something thinks I'm intolerably ignorant. I sure do love killing folks. What's that character name? Crumbopulous Michael, I think? Rick and Morty. You know, the bounty hunter guy who's just like, I sure do love killing. My vibes right now. I do some reload drills, huh? My instinct is to just run away, because I clearly am not going to be able to get it. It's probably bad. I should stop doing that. I was never a big tactical shooter guy, because this is, what, like Counter-Strike? But VR, that's kind of like how it's described. It was never really my deal. I was more of a Halo guy. Being restricted to consoles, whatever it was. What? I don't. What? Whoa! Where'd my knife go? I stole my knife. Wait, do I have? No. Where are my grenades? Do I have any? Ooh. Medkit, I guess. Okay, do we actually even fire? I don't think we did. So, yeah, it's like that, isn't it? Alright. Yeah, that feels right. Right, so then the exhaust goes over your shoulder, and this is all... Oh god. Nothing happened, folks. How do you arm... Is it armed now? Sure is. My mind was like, okay, so what's the... How do you charge this thing? I was like, maybe you don't, and turns out you don't. That can't be real. There's got to be some, like, there's a rocket in here now button, ready to fire thing. Is there not? Like on the real deal? And again, it's Russian, so maybe not. Rocket is fine. Just the rocket didn't disarmed. Lots of shotguns. Machine guns. Ooh. Yeah, German machine gun. Right? Direct descendant of the one they used for their little outburst. Oh, is that the MG42? Germany, if you remember, had some very controversial foreign policy choices in the early 20th century. Oh god. Scar, right? Or... one of those that's similar to it, at least. I'm a sucker for a battle rifle, folks. Caliber is big. Just remember, the bigger the caliber, the bigger the penis of the person using it. That's how it works, right? Like cars and horsepower. Or is it the opposite? I always forget. Literally don't. Oh! Shameful sounds. I'm off center again. I think I need to do something with the room setup. Just ran it yesterday. Jesus Christ. Okay, the 3D sound is great. Oof. I suppose I should have taken that opportunity to reload, huh? As opposed to just admiring the footsteps that I could clearly hear exactly where they were coming from. People, if you don't have a VR headset, what are you doing with your lives? Like, if for anything that... For the stuff that VR is good for, you gotta. Like, it's not there yet for a lot of stuff, but for... If you want to do a tactical shooter, this is how you do it. Any kind of, like, driving game, flying game, space game, you just gotta do it. We need to get a bigger install base, so more money is spent on developing it. This is just the future. No questions there. If you get motion sickness, I'm sorry that your body is weak. You can't hold the rest of us back. Work on it. Work on yourselves. I don't know what the answer is, but fix it. Because it's worth it. Like, if it takes like 10 hours of like vomiting, fucking champ it. It'll be better for it on the other side. Get your VR legs, I think is the term, right? Like sea legs. My tactical exit has gone poorly. Alright, well. So theoretically I should be able to, oops. Go akimbo, right? Right. Yeah. Okay, well, this is because what you typically want to do is keep the large caliber weapon in your offhand. That's a pro gamer move. Because you want to maximize the recoil, right? Because the thing with akimbo is to be as dumb as possible. See? Wasn't even that wrong. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. See, in Boneworks, you could have just still gotten that guy. That's how... So, are muzzle strikes in this? Because it feels like they should be, right? And if they're not, patch it up, folks. Oops. God damn, imagine just like rolling into Germany with this, right? And like pretty much nothing else other than some food and you. I mean, god damn. Because I mean, obviously the people you're facing were similarly limited, but still. The utter lack of gear in World War II is crazy. Like, from a modern perspective. Obviously, they were... Well, we're dead now. Obviously, they were the most advanced thing that they'd ever heard of at the time, but still. God. Because if you listen to... Again, not a vet, but if you listen to vets talk about, like, their gear, there's almost like this mystical religious connection they have with it. It's very... a lot of faith involved, and... Like, to go from that to, okay, well, you have 8 rounds and a couple hand grenades and a metal helmet that's not gonna stop much of anything. Go after Hitler. Enjoy yourselves. Also, you don't have a choice because you're a conscript. I mean, that was fucking nuts. I mean, not breaking new ground here. World War II was bad, but when you really think about it... I think Starship Troopers had it right with their political system. No, volunteer military, but only volunteers vote. Totally on board with that. And again, I would be giving up my right to vote So I think that makes me the guy to propose it, right? It's like, oh no, I'm bearing the consequences of this. But also, I think that it should be the case. Like, come on, veteran-only suffrage? That'd shake things up a bit, right? It would certainly solve veteran healthcare. I mean, just immediately. All veteran issues, shoop, fixed. And then they work on other stuff, because that's kind of what they do, right? Like, just from a selfish perspective, it would just be better. They do such a good job that, like, why not? Like, the self-interested position would be to give up your vote there. And if you want it back, you know, 4 years, right? Service guarantees citizenship. But not like citizenship, it would have to be different. It'd be like citizenship plus. So you're not... It's not like anyone loses their rights. Well, I guess it would be. Guess I'm in favor of them losing their rights. Or that would have to be part of a grand bargain, right? Like a really great reset. Where'd that knife go? Sure, use it right now. See, this is, I guess, why they're so religious about their gear, right? Because you need to know where the fuck the knife is. Alright, shoot me, thank you. I don't know, this sort of thing is kind of interesting for people who, again, never been in a violent altercation in my life, intends never to be in one. But, like, just to get, like, kind of a basic... Not even a basic, but, like, from ignorance to something ignorance plus, this is a good... Like, when you're thinking about things, like, okay, so this is some kind of representation of what you're asking people to do in real life. Because I don't think people really appreciate what war is. And not that this is anywhere near it, but... Again, from ignorance to ignorance plus, right? Shades of gray. Because people would at least be like, okay, well, this is something like what you're asking people to go do. Or ordering, or commanding, or not asking in the case of Ukraine, which is using conscripts. Complex question, obviously. But I think people are just so ignorant that this would be a step up, I think is what I'm saying. Just trying to have an appropriate disdain for the average person, I think. Right, because how many dudes had that story, by the way? It's like they were just conscripted straight into the, you know, Donetsk militia or whatever it is, and then they're handed like a Mosin, right? And told, take building, right? And then they go take building and get a guy and get got, and that's it. That's the whole war story. So you're like, you know, go. I'm not gonna say the word I want to say because I think it's technically a slur, but you know the one for, I think it's pig, right? Like, go kill pig, and then you go kill pig, and then, you know, tusks. Because the pig is a boar, and Vladimir didn't tell you that. Jesus Christ, straight out of Vietnam. Or no, it's not. This is a... Who's using burst fire? And why? I've never understood burst fire. I know someone was issued burst fire for a minute. I don't remember who. You know, there's like something the Marines would do for some reason. You know, different for the sake of being different. Again, talking directly out of my ass, folks. MP7? Yeah? Maybe? I don't know. Some PDW. Point of view. You're Zelensky. You're the last Ukrainian. And the Spetsnaz are coming. You finally did it. You killed every Ukrainian. And now it's your turn. Zelensky's last stand, folks. From some movie studio in Ukraine. Yeah, because that's what he would do, right? Like, he'd actually go down with the ship. And then you'd be like, well, I guess we can't really criticize him that much, but maybe the strategy was shit. It's like, you're brave, but also you lost. So, I don't know. The degree to which bravery rhymes with stupidity is, wild. Like genius and crazy. Slice the pie, guys. Don't be serious. Oh. Oh, you just got a tank in that, huh? Yeah, I think you have a tummy ache. You guys should get him some help. I'm gonna leave. No? Okay. Ugh, the sight picture on this. Oh, I have a tendency to min-max with stuff, so I'm actively trying to get over that and, like, embrace the joy aspect of video games, not the autistic angle of, well, we have to solve this problem to the most efficient way, or the most extreme way, right? Trying to maximize for fun more in my dotage here. Hence, you know, the philosophy of using the Garand right now. Right, because the min-max thing would be like, okay, well, let's figure out how much hate can we put out per, whatever, brain cycle, whatever gun that is, and then just use that all the time. That'd be the trying to win instead of trying to have fun way. Which trying to win can be fun too, but you have to pick and choose. Can't be like that all the time. Of course. Might as well. You can go ahead and go fuck yourself, sir. I have a Garand, I'll use the Garand. I'm sure someone's done a whole autistic, like, how to do close quarter battles with a Garand in real life, right? Like, today, not... Because obviously there are old World War II manuals, but... Like, someone's figured it out. Like, okay, if this is the one gun you have, and you're in a house, and the bad guys is coming... What's the way to do it? Someone go find that video and post it in the chat. I'm sure it's really funny. And also probably informational. And then shout the appropriate advice from that at me. Tell me how to do this. Because I'm thinking little ambushes, right? Or not, or just embrace the, whoa, stopping power of it all. From as far away as possible, because they're all going to be using, not all, but mostly intermediate cartridges. And they seem to be firing full auto for some reason. So, long range, well aimed, which, you know, this is me. I am no marksman. But I think that would be the strategy, right? So, patience. Some of those situations where slow is fast. As I just mag dump in a panic. Oh, yeah, cause my, oh god. Yeah, cause I'm thinking like an AR, right? You just go bap 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 bap. But you only have 8 rounds. Broke your windows, guys. What are you gonna do about it? It cost you thousands of dollars. A bad man, folks. God, the instinct is just to fire too fast. Oof, that's kind of deliberate. That's about the right speed, I think. You have to hit. You have to make sure you need every round, right? So you have to wait long enough to make sure that that wasn't the one to... Because otherwise you're just going to be out. I guess if you just have one enemy, you'd mag dump, but if you're not sure there's just one enemy. I'm serious, by the way. I won't see it during the stream, but you tell me how this works. I'll read it. And not the gamey way, right? Not like... or the Matrix. Whew. I suppose you're just walking through those hits, though, aren't they? Alright. Fire with fire time. Or volume of, I guess. Oof. Sir. Oh. Oh, not good. What would I give for a holographic sight, huh? I guess I could. That's got to be in the upgrades, right? The nice tech on here. Or whatever the new cool base site is. I almost had that charged. Not that I was going to survive, but he was going to also die. Ooh. The gentleman had been shot, but like, I think it's funny to complain that like the guy that you shot isn't appropriately injured. I'm sure someone's done that, right? Like some just like someone like just at the end of the round, like what the fuck? I fucking shot you. That's gotta have happened, right? Chime in with your story. If you make it up, make it believable. You guys just kind of did this, huh? Just went out and schwacked guys. Yeah, like every day for a year. That's a little fucked up. I mean, for you, right? Not, I mean, you know, good. I think generally speaking, I'm sure a high percentage of the schwacked deserved it. But, ugh. Like, how do you go from that to anything else? I mean, just from this, just like it's, what is more stimulating? Like, again, this is, I'm in VR right now. I understand this. But accessing enough of the brain to understand that if you did this for real, it'd be like one of the craziest goddamn things in the world, right? Like adrenaline spiking, it would be like doing all of the drugs at the same time. In a way, right? Like nothing would ever really be like it. So I would assume it'd be, ooh. Like, unless you have some real good supports, you're going to end up on this real weird trajectory of, like, looking for that high and then trying everything to not want to look for the high. And then, like, is that ringing a bell? Again, I'm not a vet at all, but I'm just, like, imagining myself in your position as best I can. And it would fuck me up pretty good, I think. Like, just from that perspective, right? Like, forget anything else, any moral, philosophical stuff, but just the of it all. Right? The little bit of excitement that this is fun, this is also terrible, and why do I think it's fun, and also my boy died, and all of this all at the same time, and the country likes it, but some of the people don't, and but the war was lost, but was it really? Like, all that shit. Good lord. The fact that more of you weren't just, like, generally shooting people up on the regular just to get it out of your system, good work. I don't think people give vets enough credit for that. Because they could, right? They could just, you know, fill in the blank. Whatever it is they have in their very capable and very broken little hearts. They could just kind of go do. It's very important that we take care of those guys just from like a self-preservation point of view. Because we did train them to, I mean, they have all the skills they'd need to go be real bad boys. And so few of them are. When so many of them are broken. So I think that speaks to like the quality of the person that's been broken. And I think that kind of requires greater, not requires, but you know, if people are looking for something to sprinkle money on, that would be a good cause to sprinkle money on. There's a lot of talent to salvage in that pool of people, I think. Right, because a lot of them grew up very religious and joined the military because of the whole God and country thing. And now they emerged from the military very different people than the one that went in. And I think a lot of them are, I mean, they're expected to go back to the people that, yeah, there's a whole thing here, and I think it's bigger than any one individual, right? I don't think vets really need therapy as individuals so much as like the whole class of individual in the social matrix we're in needs to be, I don't know, whatever the sociology version of therapy is, right? It needs to like be put in a better place. Its status as a whole needs to be much greater. Its wealth needs to be increased. Its resources need to be expanded. Like that category of guy needs to be back where, well, not back where he was, because where he was a problem. Let's remember that, folks. But like, we don't need kings and shit. Because that was, that's the best case scenario of that guy is king. So that's off the table, of course, but we need to put them back maybe 60% of the way of where they used to be in general. If that sounds crazy, you should Google the words you don't know. If it doesn't sound crazy, but it sounds wrong, I'm curious to hear your opinion, because I don't know if I agree with myself or not. So, chime in. Kind of a food for thought experiment kind of thing. I don't know how to articulate those other than just, like, pretending I have the opinion and just putting it out there, so. I do that a lot. But only with stuff you disagree with. Anything you agree with, that's my real opinion. I promise. I do a thumbs up. Whatever. I'm lying to you there. Hence the thumbs up. Or desire for one. Unrequited. Unrequited? A thumbs up love, folks. Can it be unrequited? Unfulfilled, I think is what I was looking for. No one looks for unrequited love. That's for certain. Whoops. Remember, the gods speak through serendipity, so if anything I say sounds ridiculous and I also die, that means it's wrong. Always strongly interpret the random signs around you, folks. That's what healthy people do, I think. Oh, that's more true than not, that the gods speak through serendipity. Just like, as long as you're not literal about any part of that. It's one of the things that's like 80% true. Austria's a great country. Nothing bad could ever happen in Austria. Have you ever even heard of like a bad Austrian? Or like Schwarzenegger? It's great. Like all mountains and stuff. That's where the Habsburgs came from, right? You know, those real cool guys that definitely weren't completely inbred. Insane people. That's the problem with monarchy. At least hereditary monarchy. You could do like an elective monarchy, I guess. But any hereditary monarchy is going to lead to fucked up family shit. Just inevitably. Has to. 100% of the time. I mean, name a father-son relationship that was like legitimately warm in any king-prince dynamic. Name one. I've never heard the story. And if there is a story, I would love to read it, but it sounds impossible. Because the story is always, and the king was a real abusive asshole to the prince, and the prince was like, well, I'm gonna not be like my father, and then he was like his father, and then the prince was like, I'm not gonna be like my father, and then he was like his father, you know, unto eternity, right? Because the kind of person that winds up the actual goddamn king isn't gonna be a good father. That's just not, that's not in the cards, folks. The Roman adoptive system was interesting. I think that was a really good workaround. It worked for a minute. Like if you're gonna do personal autocracies. Not a bad way to handle the succession, right? Just have people chime in on the adoptee. That's what Putin should have done if he was, you know, good at being a dictator, which he's not. The thing with being a dictator, you gotta get shit done. Otherwise, people murder you in the street, like so, yes? These would be the people that would be sent after me after 3 days as president. It's like, no, we've made a mistake. If I ever run for office, vote against me, folks. I can't be more clear about that. Congress at best. And that's if I chill the fuck out. You know what's a good idea? Invading Canada. You know who's an asshole? Justin from Canada. Let's go to Ottawa and chastise them, folks. I didn't hear that as a speech. I got in the middle of a meltdown, and fuck Justin from Canada. But unlike Trump, I'd be like, oh yeah, motherfucker, and then we'd roll. And those would be the actual orders of the real president. And suddenly North America has one country. Whoops-a-daisy. From sea to shining sea to shining sea. From the Panama Canal and a little bit south for a military buffer to the Arctic Circle. Everything in between. All speaking English. And whatever other language they would like. But all speaking English. Taught. And the free education, right? All the free education, free healthcare is in English. Can we all agree on this? You can do anything else you want, like extracurricular. I don't give a shit. Learn Klingon. Speak it every day of your life. But, you know, also know English just in case. You know, in case you need to order pancakes. And the pancake tris doesn't know Klingon. You know, and it doesn't have to be English. That just kind of makes sense because we need a lingua franca. Like, just for a simple trade language, right? You have to pick something, and the, you know, install base on English is pretty good, so, you know, And that should be worldwide, by the way. And English, because it's just kind of naturally is becoming that, and we should just help that process along and recognize it and manage it and make sure that the negative impact is as low as possible, because we don't want to lose any languages as English is becoming the lingua franca, however that's pronounced. And you have to embrace stuff like that, right? People getting it wrong. Like when you know English isn't someone's first language, don't bust their balls. Like, think about how you would sound in their language. It would be worse, so they're demonstrating skills that you don't have. Anyone who's speaking a language poorly speaks the language well. Well, unless they're speaking one language, and unless they're monogloss and they speak that poorly, I guess that would be the exception. Oh boy. What popped in your head, folks? Write it in the chat. Sure you have an aunt like that? Or a boss or someone? Someone who speaks like 0.8 languages. Oh, that's the saddest thing to do, I think, right? It's like, you don't even have a chance. You're not communicating anything to anybody. I come from garbage people, folks. So I have plenty of experience with this. You know, I'm a monogloss, I can speak one language, so I'm not that far above them, but there are people worse than me, goddammit. Like that guy. That guy right there. Also you, and you, and you. Oops. Oh, shit. Oh, there's nothing the gods hate more than hubris, folks. I get me for that all the time. I should probably go online with this eventually, huh? That'll be a rude awakening. Stop bullying me! I just have a breakdown. I was like, no, you're too good. No, you kids, stop. I'm an old man. Let me get a shot off. Probably do that on the next stream. Get some. So you're supposed to yell, right? I hate my dad, get some! Oh, some like thrash metal song lyrics play through your head. I wish more people would talk about that. Like, what does go through your head in combat? Whoa! Wow. Like, right, when you're, like, I assume it's nothing, right? You're just in flow state and you just are, you don't really have, it's like if, like, I think a lot of people probably don't have an answer to that question, right? Like, what was it like? Like, in the sense of, like, your exact experience as you, right? Like, were you, there's no way your brain's storing all that information because there's just too much all at once. I wonder if it would help, like, some PTSD dudes to, like, have a VR version of, like, whatever the thing was that fucked them up. And it's just, like, you just, like, put it in the room somewhere, and, like, you have whatever safeties you need, right? So, like, it's like, okay, you know you're invincible, you know all your buddies. Like, you work through the situation from every possible angle and say, okay. So you're just, like, you fully understand exactly what happened, what went wrong, what lessons were learned. So, you contextualize the thing so that it's not just this, like, impulse of what the fuckery, right? It's, okay, so it's this, but it's diluted through all the context of it, right? So you go to the actual thing, you bring yourself there in like a VR, whatever it is, and you can interact with the situation, you can maybe run through it and it goes the other way. You can trick your brain into thinking like, okay, well the other version, like, trick your brain into thinking there are multiple possibilities when there weren't, right? We're not saying that, well, maybe the multiverse is true. We're just tricking your brain, the stupid part of your brain, into thinking maybe the bad version was was like anticipatory dread and didn't actually happen. Like, that was the nightmare, but the reality was, right? And you're not intellectually engaging with that as reality. You know that it's not, but you're taking your brain through the paces of, yeah, but this time, this is how it went, and, you know, we got the guy out or whatever it was. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but someone who's qualified should look into that, because it feels like there's something there. Because you're not, and don't think of this like through a normal therapeutic lens. Think of this through like hacking the brain. Think of it like you're Elon Musk, right? You're going back to the trauma and then altering what the body thinks happened. Because again, the body's very intelligent, but it's a little dumb. So I think that would work. And I think someone who's qualified should, check my math, but I think there's something there. And if people are already doing that, good. I'm glad. More. And I'm curious to hear if it works or not. Like, if you're one of those dudes, or even if you just, like, kind of did a self-therapy thing, right? I'm curious if people have had experiences of, well, I did something similar to something that fucked me up in VR, and I'm less fucked up now. Like, if that's been your experience, explain it or not. Like, if you have a theory about how it works, I'd love to hear it. But even if you don't, chime in. Because I think that's a very interesting question. Because I think VR has wildly more. I think Zuckerberg... Allah forgive me for saying this, but I think Zuckerberg's right about VR. His whole metaverse thing, it's very dumb how he talks about it. Elon Musk has the same problem. But he's right? Fundamentally, Zuckerberg. So, it is what it is. Radical acceptance would say to help him and influence him in a positive direction. Because he's right about what the future is, and he's fucking about with it. And he was right about Facebook, right? So, I mean, boy, if one man has done more to mess with the social fabric... I mean, he'd be on the list, right? I don't think he's at the top of the list, but he'd be in the conversation. But yeah, his whole meta thing, it's like I'm kind of unironically, accidentally, god damn it, I hate to admit it, Team Zuck on that one. Like, fuck him in general, but on this, he's right. It's my official stance. Oh, he's probably one of those guys that if I talked to him for 5 minutes, I'd be like, oh, you're actually awesome in the media section. Right? Like Musk, or a lot of those guys. It's like they're assholes in the way you would expect them to be assholes, but like if you can look past that, it's like, oh, this is all wildly interesting. Spray and pray there, folks. What you get for not being scared away, right? I like collecting, I don't know what the idioms and just like very specific subculture expressions. I don't know why. I just find them fascinating. And they're fun to just like sprinkle in through just like unrelated conversations. It's a fun little shibboleth. Like, you know too. Alright, asshole. Whoa! Oh, hubris again. Yeah, we're the gods. Thank you. Yep. Yahweh specifically gets pissed about hubris. Kind of a cuck that way. I'll never look in the mirror. Right? I mean, talking about hubris, goddamn, I am the only god. It's all projection, folks. That's his big problem. He's like, no, fuck you. You're the nicest, not me. I'm the way, the truth, and the light. Whee! Love me or you're going to go be tortured for eternity because I love you. What is that if not, like, just... I mean, okay, you do the diagnosis, right? You're diagnosing God, or the Yahweh one. The Judeo-Christian God, which doesn't exist, but, you know, the one that Christians worship. Not the one Jews worship, that's very different. Jews are much better on the God question. But... I'm wandering from the point. Yeah, if you're going to diagnose Yahweh with the personality disorder, it'd be NPD, right? Just like malignant as shit. The grandiose... Like, he's the most grandiose narcissist. That's what Yahweh is. The most grandiose narcissist. He is the only God. He is the way, the truth, and light. He demands just... Like, he's not going to make you kill your kid, but if he did, you're supposed to do it, and it's kind of weird that you wouldn't, right? That's Yahweh's energy. Christians are in an abusive relationship with the biggest narcissist there ever was. That's some deep lore from real life. So the right thing to do is to cure Christians of their terrible issues. You know, I mean, their abandonment issues alone. I mean, goddamn. 2,000 years. Daddy's not coming back with smokes. He left. Anyway, I feel entitled to diagnose the gods because they fucked with me so. And as Taylor Swift says, I never trust a narcissist. But they do love me. God, narcissists admire autistic people so much. It's funny. It's that's a pattern. Like, if you pay attention to that pattern, it's one of those things that's 80% true. But you'll notice. Like, especially, that's why you get weird shit sometimes. Like, you get like a narcissist that's like, well, I think Elon Musk is Elon Musk because he acts like Elon Musk. And then they like just start doing a bit. It's crazy. Who's that lady that did that? Oh, you know, the one with the blood thing that didn't work. Theranos? Is that what it was? I don't know. The cute girl that did nothing wrong and should be my wife. That one. It's like, she just stole Steve Jobs' whole thing. She's like, well, this is how to be respected. And she started wearing turtlenecks and did a voice. And just kind of like, that was just what she did for years. And she was... My goddamn, that story. I mean, she was just transparent the entire time. But I guess not. Anyway, a very good girl. They were all wrong. You were right. Let me enable you. That is my kind of crazy, folks. Not healthy, but goddamn, it's entertaining. So I'm single, and no one should date me. And I'm being very upfront about this. So in the future, when it's necessary, I will send you this link. I'm not a good person, but I'm right. That's the point here. Which is the only important thing, isn't it? Being right? I'm pretty sure that's what the psychologist said. That's what I heard, at least. They wouldn't actually. When you have nothing else to stand on, you stand on principle, folks. Uh-oh, the guys are gonna get me again. Oh shit, I might be wrong. Nah, definitely stand on principle. Alright, good. I passed through that whole philosophy by trial by combat. Oh shit. Oh, okay. Well, so this is where two schools of thought could develop, right? It's like, well, he got 4 of them, but I don't know. That's how that's how augury works, by the way. That is exactly what augury is. Feel free to strongly interpret everything I do. It's applied religion. It's a funny thing I like. It's like, what if you took religion seriously and then thought like an engineer about it? It's like, okay, well, let's do this little magic trick. Because they function, right? They're social machines. It's not like there's nothing to them. But it's just, their explanations of themselves are almost always wrong. Wrong to varying degrees. I mean, the Buddhists are, I don't know, probably closest. Like, if someone, like, pointed a gun at my head and said, like, pick an established religion, I'd have to say Buddhist. But that's not at all how I self-identify. That'd just be like if I'm in prison, that's the gang I'm in. Like, it comes down to it, it's like, alright, folks, I guess I'm a Buddhist. Like, if it's shooting time. But you can't choose atheist. Well, I wouldn't even side with them. I'd be like, okay, well, fuck you guys, I guess I'm a Buddhist. I mean, not really, though, but I'd rather fight for them. Oh, God. Why? I'm a firm believer that the gods are... No, I believe in the gods, obviously, as social machines, but not as, you know, the hocus-pocus explanations. I couldn't be more convinced of that. But atheists are by far the most insufferable group of people among the folks in the category of the religious and anti-religious. You know, because atheists, whatever. The degree to which atheists and religious people are the same, like, whatever that category is. Of those, atheists are the worst. Well, not the worst. Jehovah's Witnesses are the worst, but atheists are among the Jehovah's Witnesses of the world, right? Oh God, stop knocking on my door, but in aggressive Facebook tweets. Facebook posts. People hate proselytizers. I think that's the thing. Atheists need to not proselytize. Like, I'll occasionally take revenge on Christians who are being extremely annoying with a little anti-theist take, but that's very toxic behavior. I recognize that. I mean, I enjoy it and I'm not going to stop. It is toxic, however. People shouldn't generally probably do that. But I'm a hypocrite, so, you know, God's a narcissist. LOL. Ah, shit. Fuck you, Yahweh. I said it. You heard me. You can strike me down, but god damn it, I'm right. Does any religion have that prophet? The one's like, no, actually, you're wrong, motherfucker, and just like talks the god down. Has that ever happened? Like, I mean, someone has to have come up with that story, right? That would be so... But every dude that's ever come up with that story has been, like, killed by the religious authorities, right? And it's like, no, actually, God's kind of not right here. Maybe he should change his ways. Whoosh! On the cross. So what I'm saying is I think God should get off his high horse. That's my take. So if you're real God, chill, bro. What if the Sims are conscious, right? So you can't beat the gods in combat, but you can out-logic them sometimes. That feels like there's got to be like a Greek myth or something, right? Where some dude was like, no, actually. No, but you're wrong, Zeus. And Zeus was like, ah. And then he lightning bolted the dude's enemies, right, as compensation. Something real transactional like that. If it doesn't exist, someone should write that story. Come back with some new mythology. Remember, all mythology was just written by some guy, right? So make some new stuff. George Lucas did it. If you think you can't come up with a new Star Wars, go watch an interview with George Lucas, right? Just like, listen to him talk for an hour, okay? Then think real hard about if you can come up with the next Star Wars or not. Because I'm guessing the answer might surprise you. And I'm not talking to like one person out there, like, you know, what if Cormier did that? I mean, the world is so dull. People love entertainment. There's an infinite appetite for good content. Or not even good content, just like content that's watchable. We need more creators and less consumers in general. I think with the information space being the most important space, people who can, should. If nothing else, to annoy others into saying, well, if he's doing it, fuck it, I have to do it because I'll get an audience, right? You know, gather steam, network effects. We need more voices in the public space. Not necessarily like high-end voices either. We just need more voices, more people talking to each other, like from the entire spectrum of the you know, human network there. Because the world's very much run by just elites talking to elites, and we need to draw them into deeper networks of normal people. It's one thing the metaverse would be good for. And the more virtual space there is, the more, you know, opportunity there is for, like, me to run across a congressperson and say, oh, hello, sir. Before I cast this spell of healing, please listen to why you're an asshole. All right, thank you. Now, mana. I mean, just straight up social pressure, right? I mean, nothing's more reliable than relying on the worst aspects of human personalities. Because they're just absolutely going to happen. There'll be stories of, like, the medic doesn't heal teammate because, you know, he voted for X or Y. And, like, whatever that game is will be more important to the dude than his actual politics. It's like, fuck. And if it keeps happening, he'll, you know, adjust. And again, that works because the kind of person that's a politician is that guy. He's that shallow. It shouldn't be that way, but it would work. Hopefully. I don't know. You can never be sure with those things, but that's kind of my take on it. One of the things I'm not sure if I agree with myself on. Remember, you can't learn without being learned. So the sacrifice of learning is feeling like a jackass who doesn't know anything most of the time. Up when it matters. More often than not. I think stuff like this is a good way to enter a flow state. And and then think through, obviously what I'm doing right now, kind of therapizing myself a little bit. Shower thoughts, IRL. Don't mean to lose my head like this. Well, I think that was just the helmet, right? I think that's another... yeah. And I think VR stuff is a special interest, unfortunately. Dumb as that may be. You don't choose them, they find you. And I think I've got a lot of good ideas in this space. And I think I'm just being autistic and not particularly arrogant about that. I think that's just true. I would love access to a game design studio and just talk to the people there, right? Just to seed ideas, not even for money. It's just no, hey guys, listen to me. And there are so many good. I mean, so again, Zuckerberg's right about the whole goddamn thing. Allah forgive me for saying. See how pissed Allah was? But I was wrong about lots of stuff, that little girl that Muhammad had married. So I was wrong sometimes, which I know is hard for some people to hear, but especially him, right? Boy, talk about a narcissist, right? It's not like the Christian God's the worst. That's one thing Christians have going for them. Among gods, it's so bad. He had some outbursts back in the day, sicking bears on some boys that one time, and then made fun of his prophet. He kind of came around in the New Testament a little bit. Sermon on the Mount wasn't bad. No, he doesn't really make up for everything. I kind of like Darth Vader turning on Palpatine at the end there. He's like, alright, well that doesn't make up for the younglings, but thank you, I guess. I guess you scored a touchdown in garbage time on the moral scale. It wasn't a blowout. Oof. Very serious. Very tactical. Oh, shit! And who's been that guy? A super serious, squared away guy. And it's I didn't have a magazine in. And then he's dead. I want to hear that story. Someone has a story. Who was the guy? Who was the guy? But only if he was kind of a dick, right? The squared away guy that was also kind of a dick and died that way. The guy that kind of deserves to get roasted a bit. Let's hear his story. Because I don't know of it, but I know it exists because it has to. Yeah, the guy you laugh at and then you drink to at the end of the night. What's the dumbest thing the most elite dude did that got him killed? I think that would be some good information that, everyone should have, right? It's okay, well, here's how the best fucked up. Make sure you don't do it. But if he did it, Lord knows you will. I'm frightened and confused by how that magazine works. This one's for the FUDs. Not just this one, not what I'm doing here. That was very stupid, but also extremely satisfying. What to do with me? Excuse me, sir. Time out. Time out. Time out, guys. Oh, this is very unsportsmanlike. Ah, that's what you get. I think they all just die at the end of the round, right? What was I doing wrong there? Let's do the right place, listen. Whoa. Yeah, except good and not bad, like I just did it. Is that what they do in real life? They don't wait for you to reload? It's fucked up, man. Although I guess the laws of war are kind of, you know, the equivalent of being sporting, right? No torturing POWs and stuff because it's unsportsmanlike. It's like kicking a guy in the dick in football. That's torturing a dude. That's funny. You know, excessive cruelty for the purpose, I guess. Right, like it would be useful to kick a guy's nuts in football, but if everyone started doing that, it's not fun anymore. You gotta keep war fun. Otherwise no one would do it. I think I just explained why the Geneva Conventions are bad. Accidentally. Like, if everything was on the table, wouldn't everyone just be like, okay, well, that's clear, we're no. So, like, what if nukes, but they were biological weapons? Like, alright, well, if there's any war, we're going to release this jar, and you give it to the Secretary General of the United Nations, and he just, like, holds it over his head anytime anyone's about to go to war. He's like, I'll fucking do it, guys. We're all going down. Like, right? So you know how COVID was a bioweapon engineered by the Chinese in an attempt to destabilize the West to enable the invasion of Taiwan and then enable the great Chinese dream of a national rejuvenation by whatever the meme year is that they're autistically obsessed with. We should do that, but, like, for all of us? And it's somehow, like, hardwired to, like, a vote, right? Like, if 70% of the people agree, we all go. So, just like a final veto. It's like, no, fuck this, guys. Right? So, you know, to end the Ukraine war, and I don't know if 70% is the number, right? Figure it out. I'm sure there's a right answer, and I don't think it's 70%. It's probably much lower than that. Or if, like, 30% of the people are like, no, we're going to do it, then... Right, like if enough people are willing to die, like in lieu of war, it would serve the same general function, right? People who are willing to, it's like, well, okay, if the world's going to be this, then I would prefer to be dead. So before I'm dead, let's see if we can prevent the world from being this, right? That energy that leads to so much war and mass shootery, it's like you'd engineer that away, right? It's like you give a mechanism for that. Because it's there anyway. So he would have the outlet. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to publicly switch my vote to smash the jar. It's like, that would be like a real stand, right? It's like, no, the system's fucked. I'm voting for the jar, right? And then you just go about your life. Like within the system that you believe should be smashed, which you've done everything you now can to smash it. Like, you've done the right thing if you want to smash it. Then within the system, you work and grow your power, right? And then you can focus your energies on changing the system just in case voting for the jar doesn't pass the threshold. I think that'd be an interesting idea. That'd be like super long term, right? When everyone's real stable. Like, just as like a final check on autocracy running amok. Because I think what's going to happen is that we're going to have some sort of king, and that's a real dice roll. Real dice roll. If you want to do democracy, you have to have a panic button, right? Because nothing's more oppressive than 70% of the people agreeing on something. Again, these numbers are all over the place, but I'm just kind of getting something that's like, I think 60% of my idea out. See what people do with it. It's an interesting novelty generator, at least. Tell me why I'm wrong, if nothing else. Or tell me what you think I said. That's also interesting. Because I'm not sure what I said. Like, there's a general, like, complex of ideas that I'm trying to articulate, and I'm not quite sure how to. It's like the thing that's in my head I think is right, but I'm not sure how to get it out into the world correctly. Many such cases, right? Hello, I'm Aaron. I have autism. Papers and everything. It's a lovely painting. It's like a butterfly. Be right back. Alright. This segment of the podcast, not podcast, stream, that's what we're doing here. Brought to you by Venom Strawberry Apple, I believe it is? Energy drink. Venom. For when you're tired and sad and need to do a stream. Venom, for when you want to forget to take your gun. Has anyone been that guy? He's been, like, on target and was like, guys, hear me out. This is why it makes sense that I forgot my weapon. Like, what's the farthest someone's gotten into an op with just the most obvious piece of gear missing? Like the AT team that showed up without the javelin. Like, you guys got all the way here. Military tomfoolery is some of the most entertaining stuff. I don't know why. I think we're hardwired to find it entertaining, right? Because, like, how did the guy fuck up in combat is the most important information. Like, if you're in, like, a tribal time and... I mean, you can only train so hard, right? You know, you're swinging clubs at each other. There's not, like, a doctrine for how to train and stuff. So you're just around the campfire, you're intently listening. It's like, you know, if someone swings for your leg, you gotta club him over the head. And that's, like, how a guy knew to do that. Right? Ugh. I mean, thinking about warfare and, like, the prehistoric times, I mean, that must have been just some wild shit. I mean, think about... Because when dudes do go into combat, like, as crazy as it is, they do it, right? I mean, it's not like they're not out there performing. So that's all hardwired. Like, that's in us to do it. So we've been doing that for a very long time. I don't think it's a hot take to say that warfare is probably the chief driver of human evolution. In, like, the, you know, recent evolutionary history, right? Like, that and sex, it seems like. Like, our genitals are kind of... like, why? That's not very efficient. It's like, oh, because it was fun, right? So I think, like, war and sex and stuff, I think we've been maximizing for, like, that dopamine rush for a very long time. Because life is so boring. Because imagine you're just, like, you know, monkey to your humanity, like, way back in the day, millions and millions of years. And you've been just being a monkey for your whole life. And you see the other tribe, and you're like, boys... And how good do you feel? It's like, how much was that an addiction for those people? Or proto-people, or whatever. Our ancestors. It's like that in sex, right? I mean, just look at, just like, look at a naked human. It's like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Like, just compare it to, like, a chimpanzee or something. It's like, we've been fucking folks. Since the way back. And what's interesting and I guess a little fun and maybe optimistic is that we did kind of choose that, right? On a species level. Like, if we've been selected for anything, it's been being hot, which I find charming. Right, that and ability to kill people. You know, that'd be the other side of that, the whole chase after dopamine thing. Lots of other things, too. Culinary skills and the ability to appreciate it. Like, the whole thing where like, if you just put a human out in the wild, he would just die. I mean, mostly. Well, not all of us, but I would. Like, we need all of the culture and stuff. Like, we've built a cocoon around ourselves as a species that we can't really escape from. It's kind of a gilded cage. That's what we've decided as a species over millions of years through our behavior, right? Not articulated beliefs at all. It's not like a directed process, but, you know, so I guess to the extent the gods want anything, the gods want you to fucking fight and eat and do living things that living people do and have been doing since time immemorial. Only if you want to be happy. If you don't mind being miserable, do what you want. But if you want to be happy, you have to act like a human. That's what your reward system understands. Right? Your reward system isn't going to reward you for things that weren't worth rewarding to your ancestors. I mean, you can abstract stuff to a certain extent, but not all the way. Some stuff has to reach right down to base reality. I think that's the argument for, like, you know, why leisure is not to be seen as a luxury and more necessity. Right? Because in the historic context, when did humans not have leisure? Like literally just sitting under a tree, right? And not leisure so much as nothing to do, I think. I mean, people really oversell how difficult farm life was. Ah! Live by the schwack, die by the schwack, folks. You know that guy in Book of Mormon? You're making things up again. I'm that guy. Maybe that's my energy right now. It's like, no, well, actually. Well, I think Joseph Smith said this. What? He didn't, though. Ooh, hey, whoa, hey, okay, yeah, sorry. Guess we're arguing with the 30.6 of it all. God damn, just right through it, huh? Ooh, that's unnerving. Because I bet that happens too, right? It's like, what? You know, it's like... And he took a shotgun slug, and then he fucking stabbed him to death. Like, the fuck? When you do everything right and just, like, magic happens and something bad happened for no reason that could never possibly happen again... Like, if something like that's gonna happen, it's gonna happen in combat, right? How many guys have that story? And, like, no one can relate to it? Like, all the guys that have no one to relate to should just get into a group and just not relate to each other together. I'm sure that exists, right? I mean, you know, 4chan, but on purpose stuff, too. Strident. Will they give up? Oh, shit! Woo! Oh, pass on them fellas, ain't they? What's the dumbest thing someone shouted in combat, too? It's just like an excited, like, oh fuck, I just fucked up 4 dudes, did you see that? Because, boy, the instinct to just, like, yell some heinous shit is... Because you can get away with it, right? Like, whatever the thing was you had to say your whole life, it's like, you just mowed down 4 dudes in front of all your bros, and you... Like, what's the most ridiculous that thing that you've ever heard? There's a whole movie around that, right? The time Private Jones told everyone he was motherfucking God. And just tell the actual story, and that's the punchline. Or the punchline, and then you have the denouement where it's like you're around the fire at the end of the day, and like everyone is in turn explaining in minute detail how he is not God and is in fact scum. You know, low lights of hubris. Ooh. Or the other way, where some dude just like ate off that reputation for the rest of his life, right? And he was just like that guy now, and everything's different. I'm sure it's gone that way too sometimes. Like some point that just like never believed in himself. He's like, oh wait a minute. Actually, those 10 guys are dead now, and I'm not, so maybe I'm kind of the guy? And then suddenly he's just different. Like, for how long was war like the way to advance socially? I mean, it still is kind of. It should be more, right? I mean, some of the smartest dudes in the world go in the military. Just ask them, they'll tell you. Yeah, but some of them are right. They don't really get the respect they deserve socially. Yeah, they kind of fetishize that a little bit too, but I don't know. The military and the rest of us need to talk more, I think. We have good advice for each other. You know, and lots of bad advice for each other as well, but part of the deal. Whoa. When the footsteps are too close, right? I thought there was gonna be something there. Not me hearing footsteps, but in the shit too long. That guy that was great, but then towards the end he went all rampant like Cortana. How? I don't understand. I need an adult. Somebody help me. My gun is too smart for me. I almost got the cover. Or concealment, I guess. Do cars count as cover? Probably not. What is it? The wheel? The wheel well? I think that counts, right? That would stop a bullet, I think. I have no idea. I might deflect it a little bit, or make it a shrapnel casualty as opposed to bullet in the face casualty. Again, I'm talking directly out of my asshole, folks. It's my speciality. That and Sith Lords. Oh, I'm out of ammo, aren't I? Oh no. Not good, not good, not good. Oh, I'm not. Oh, meta. Maybe. Well, I don't think he's going to be okay, but I am also dead, so that's not what we want. Like getting a 50% on your test as opposed to a 0. It's like, alright, well, but still, what the fuck? It's like, it's a difference, right? But still unacceptable. It's like, well, noted, but still completely unacceptable. My hallway, motherfucker. Like that. That's the sort of thing I want to hear about, right? Like, who said that sort of thing? And it was, like, accidentally on the radio. Or not accidentally on the radio. The guy who was like, I don't know what it would be, but you know what I'm talking about. Where? Something... Navy Center. Hold on. Couldn't get to my ammo pouch. But yeah, the guy that went on, like, the actual tactical net and was, like, gave an inspirational speech, but it was... but it shouldn't have been given. I want to hear those stories. Or maybe, like, the moment was right for it, but the guy just didn't have it in him, and it was... the inspirational speech where everyone's laughing, but, like, it wasn't supposed to be funny. The guy that watched too many war movies. Like something I would say, and then laugh afterwards. But like, you know, IRL. I want to hear about that. That could be a whole podcast. Shit team guys say. There you go. The next SEAL that wants a podcast. It has to all be real though. You know, so not like your usual stuff. Tell the whole truth. Just have the autistic SEALs on, not the narcissistic ones. The ones that are narcissists and also autistic depends on the guy. Oh, anyone mad about that? I'm not talking about you. You're one of the good ones, obviously. Just ask yourself. Yeah, I think maybe the whole SEAL training and culture thing needs to be looked at. Because that whole thing, obviously, that needs to exist, but it needs to exist in a way that doesn't destroy the dudes in it. Like, they need to be they need to be those dudes, but those dudes who are also having good lives afterwards. Like, it's very unfair to them. And that's kind of my actual opinion. Like, I find those guys fascinating. Because they're all like they're not all one specific dude, but there's a few kinds of specific dude that end up as SEALs. Some of them are like the best dudes in the world, and some of them are really not. And I think you could probably identify the really not, at least, and weed a good chunk of them out. Like if you get, like if SEALs had to deal with 50% fewer asshole SEALs, how much better would they be? Like just from a pure lethality point of view, right? Readiness, all that, guys not fucking up, and don't have the leadership issues, none of the drama. Or at least you could alleviate some of the drama, because there's always going to be some, right? Because that's what, I mean, those are the dudes. There's going to be drama. But if you could knock it down a good peg or two, yeah, that's something worth doing. I think the Special Forces community needs a little bit more attention from a strategic resource development point of view, right? Because we need that, and we need more of it, and we need it not to wreck the dudes, right? So that we get, like, whatever, like, the secret sauce that makes those dudes as excellent as they are, like, that needs to kind of sprinkle down through the rest of society. So we need to, that whole community, we need to make sure it's healthy and grow it, and attach as much stuff to it as possible. Because that's kind of our elite, right? A lot of it's like our cognitive elite and our physical elite it's just our elite, right? Like, these would be the nobles in many cultures. I mean, these would be the dudes on horseback, fucking around with swords. They have contributions to make, and I don't know. It's a weird instinct we have to like pretend war isn't a major part of human behavior. It's like I understand it's a shadow thing in a Jungian sense, but it's reality. And the dudes who are good at it are part of our elite, like it or not. Because what's more important than war, right? Farming, maybe? I don't really get war without farming. That's what you get. But then we're talking Mario states. That's a little too far down the line. Hunter-gathering, folks. They bring it back. Let humans be humans, right? But, you know, like, build a safety net around it, but more or less let people go hunt-gather. They'll be so much happier. Like, not in a literal sense, right? But you build I guess speaking very metaphorically, and this is all very esoteric, so if something I said made you mad, you probably didn't interpret it how I intended it to be interpreted, because what I'm saying is very theoretical and whatever. I'm not saying anything that should make anyone mad. Just thinking out loud. You need to make, like a theme park for humans. And that's what Earth needs to be. And also the animals, right? Because they're, you know, along for the ride. They're as evolved as we are. Just went on a different path. Not their fault. And humans should really treat the animals like pets. But like all of them, you know? At least the ones that can think. And think in like a meaningful sense. Like, animals that know... If you can argue that an animal knows that it exists, you should kind of... be responsible for it a little bit. Because we really have fucked up the planet for them. Least we could do is... It's like Earth belongs to humans now, it's just ours, and animals are our slaves, and that's just what it is. Like, that is the relationship. So, best you can do with a slave, like a pet you really like, is you treat it better than you treat yourself. So, I don't know, I think I have a probably unrealistically idealistic stance on the animal question, but I think in the future at least, that's something we should strive for. It's kind of mean to leave them all in the wild, right? It's not what we did with ourselves. And we should think of ourselves as the cognitive elite of the Earth. Like benevolent dictators, not, I don't know. Like, with regards to the animals, we should think of ourselves as the gods, right? And we should be good gods. Yeah, we're not there yet, obviously. I'm not going to stop eating hamburgers, but we should acknowledge that, you know, maybe the god's appetite for human sacrifice is gone out of style. By analogy. And we're going to way around the bloodlust. Because that is part of our... I mean, that's evolved too, right? It's like I'm evolved to want to eat a dead animal, so... We can, like, as a long-term thing, kind of push ourselves away from that. Not talking about, like, you know, sliced and diced in the genome, but I'm just saying, like, behaviorally, just move the incentives a bit and pull us that way. Kind of ease off the cows. You know, just not while I'm still alive. Because they're delicious. They deserve it. Look at them, they're just standing there. Fuck them. Eat a goddamn steak and not think twice. But, you know, that shouldn't be how I feel. Alright? So that's kind of the level of what I'm talking about. Like, my animal rights stuff is on a very long-term time scale and very gradual. My current stance is to look a baby cow in the face, kiss it, and then slice its neck, and then eat a delicious steak. And then, like, have a very nice night's sleep because it makes me feel like a successful hunter. Right? That's the biological reality of that situation. And it's fucked up, but, you know, look around, folks. Humans are fucked up. Does no one any good to be in denial about that fact. Oh. Foiled again. You want it easy if the other guys didn't have guns. Ugh. It's not fair. Mother, they've shot me. Oh, my sweet fat wife who's currently cheating on me. I love you so. I've heard the term dependopotamus before. Does that ring a bell for anybody? Or is that one of those things that like someone thought was funny and like pretended was real? Ah. Well, what's needed here is more energy drink. One moment. Alright, folks. Bad idea of the day. What we should do is airdrop as much of the finest pharmaceutical grade drugs of abuse as possible behind the Russian lines, like right behind the front lines. That would fuck their logistics dead, right? And I'm not talking like, you don't poison them. Like, it's the good shit, right? So the guy that's like, fuck it, if it's drug, if it's poison, whatever, like he'll take it and be like, bros, it's pure. And then everyone parties until they die. And when I say die, I mean in the attack you schedule for when this happens, right? Like you just watch and be like, all right, okay, well they're taking the drugs. All right, well Vladimir okay, well he's discovered it's actually heroin, and they're not an effective fighting force. Now let's go ahead and kill them all. It would be a very nasty trick. I think it's probably technically chemical warfare, but you have to like label it, right? Like put all the safety shit in it. Like take it from a hospital. And like in the stuff in Russian, like, and just like list like all the potential dangers. Like if you were giving it as medicine, like with all that advice. So just be like, hey, listen, it said what it was on the package. They picked it up, they put it in their bodies because they wanted to, and then we shot them because they're invading our country. Lock me up, Geneva. I mean, why not, right? And what's fun is that trick will work multiple times because of course it will, right? Because of, like the individual Russian because every individual Russian thinks he's special, right? So he's like, well, obviously no one, and we're gonna shoot the people who do, and then, right? Every single goddamn one of them, especially the officers. So it's a bit of a nasty trick, but on a small scale at least. Some annoying platoon over there. Stick a bunch of the good stuff into a mortar shell, send it on over. I don't know how it works. Mind if I, put a parachute in the motherfucker? And write in Russian speak. Good drugs. Put the label and everything on it. Even explain the plan. Have a video with the head of Central Intelligence saying, "Hello, we are trying to destroy your morale by giving you drugs." Just make it and put a real lampshade on it. And that helps the whole, because this is obviously mostly a psyop. But to the extent it works at all, because what does every Russian mother not want her son to be? A drug user, right? And when someone tries to deny being an addict, what does it make them sound like, folks? Especially under war stress. Right? So you have some dude who's legitimately not tried anything. He doesn't even drink, some total teetotaler. But he's been raining artillery onto your city for weeks. And he's talking to his mother, and she's like, "It just seems like you're not yourself. Are you sure you're not you?" The morale undermining of this is, it's worth... Someone tell me why it wouldn't work. I know why it's wrong, but someone tell me why it wouldn't work. And again, totally transparent with the whole thing. Announced on television. Because Russian parents, I think, would rather their kid be dead than a drug addict, right? It seems like that sort of culture. I don't know if that's true or not. Someone chime in, but that feels like it's right. What would Ogle at the deli say? Wouldn't you rather have a war hero than a live drug addict? Or do I read Russian culture wrong? At least enough of it, right? Even if that's 10%. Don't need much. And the Russians don't have much margin here. So good push. Or better, multiple good pushes on the morale front. And I think you're going to have a rout. Because who wants to be the last one to die for Putin? As dictators go, people were willing to die for Hitler. They loved dying for Hitler. Just by the millions. Dumb motherfuckers. But, I don't think anyone wants to die for Putin. People die for Putin because they have to die for Russia, right? And that's another thing you need to do. We need to drive a wedge between identifying Putin with Russia, right? No true Russian would stab his neighbor in the back. Which, of course, a true Russian absolutely would and probably did. But they don't want to think that of themselves. So, no true Russian would stab a neighbor in the back. Putin's not one of us. Overthrow the motherfucker. Another little push. And then if you get, 5% of the population that buys into that. Because it's not about one... Because with information war, it's not about having a narrative. It's about having... You think of them as... You're throwing punches, right? You're not trying to establish a truth. You're trying to batter the other. Of course, don't listen to me because I have forgotten my gun. Healer, heal thyself. Understood. Thank you. Good advice. Dead now. I have some god wisdom, probably. I don't know. Someone tell me. Who was speaking there? Which god punished me? Go be a bot somewhere else. See, AI folks. on the front lines. Code has no soul. Blap, 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 blap. I assume those are what Elon Musk's dreams are like. Either that or no, I will not be a supervillain. You can't make me. Right, because you can't. Right. Ye olde grab a gun. Back in my day, you had to expend the whole goddamn clip. And yeah, it was a clip. The clip was in the magazine. Ugh, starting normandy with these things, folks. Imagine getting, like, drafted and handed this and said, good luck, go to France and fuck some dudes up. Like, okay. Also, you didn't vote for this because you're 18. It's wild that that's just okay, by the way. I certainly hope that one day men and women can be equal. That is something I strive for. You know, clenched fist, right? We shall overcome. The draft, folks. It's either everybody or nobody. Pick a lane. I say it should be everybody, but also all volunteer makes sense. But you can't have boys only. I mean, good lord. Really, and we pretend that we're being equal. I mean, I like women more than men in general. I identify with them more because my deity was mean. But men do have quite the point. So I kind of see men from the female perspective, but agree with them on the points that they have about themselves. It's a weird position to find myself in. Again, I hate my father. It's a whole thing. Lots of issues here. But I'm generally on team ladies with just stuff in general, because I spent my entire childhood watching my father abuse my mother. And I was very, very isolated, so that was just like what a man was and what a woman was, right? So I kind of saw that and decided with the ladies. Trying to overcome that later in life, but I have a generally negative attitude towards men in general, which is kind of funny, but I don't know. It's not good. It's kind of funny. I understand that it's a limitation. It's a trauma thing, unfortunately. Ugh, I want to check that bullet to the head. Thank you, sir. Guy with a scope inside. Who was that guy? Mr. Always a Sniper no matter what. The guy we called Legolas, probably. You know, but like in a super derogatory tone. I'm going to shift the stream over to Odyssey in a bit and be a bit of a privateer with some wink-wink reaction videos. Not sure how to direct my audience there, but that exists. If you have the will, you'll find it, I suppose. So, wait until we get shot, and then end the stream here. Which could be very imminent. Why? Right. As I said, I think that was Boneworks muscle memory, because you just whack the... Yeah. Goodbye, folks.